stay with me, never leave. You walked into my...
Some people spend their life longing for a bigger house or the newest car, all while being a slave to the 9 to 5. But me, I just want to be free.
Welcome back to Super World Adventures, your place for all things adventure. If you clicked on this video because of the thumbnail, well, rest assured, it is not just clickbait like all the other videos on YouTube. This actually did happen, and it's a pretty wild story, a crazy story, especially for me, someone that when I travel, I always try to stay under the radar and not do anything wrong, and because I just don't want to have to go through the hassle of trying to find attorneys and laws and all this stuff in other countries that where you don't even know the language and it's so hard to do anything with. So I always try to stay under the radar, but unfortunately on this one I wasn't able to, because what the issue was something that I never imagined, never in my life thought would have been against the law or breaking the law, I guess you could say. So, and I don't have any video footage of it because it kind of caught me off guard so quickly. I didn't have any access to my camera equipment, which in the long term probably was a good thing, because it may not have turned out in my favor the way that it did. So it was probably a good thing, or a blessing in disguise especially. Now, don't let this deter you from going to Sardinia, because it was actually a phenomenal trip, one of the best trips I've ever taken. It's at least number 2 on my all-time travel list so far. It was incredible. Just the views there, the atmosphere, the food, the people, everything that I've done was just phenomenal. It was amazing, and I really truly enjoyed it. Everything was really going good up until the moment that I was actually leaving to go to Sicily for the next leg of my trip. I checked out of Calagonuti, my motel and stuff, early that morning. I drove back to the airport, had no issues, everything was going fine. I got to the airport. I always like to get to the airport at least 3 to 4 hours early when I'm in foreign countries, just because to give you time for, if there's any kind of issues or anything of that nature. And thank God I did, because it actually helped out in this situation. Because when I got to the airport, I go and check in my luggage just like normal. Everything was good. I go through security. Everything was good. Had no issues. Everything was good. My passport, I'm like, okay, well, everything's good. I should be able to make my flight. Everything should be good. I'm gonna head to Sicily and finish the last leg of this travel. So I'm sitting in the airport at the terminal waiting for my flight, and I just was kind of thirsty, so I got up to go and get a bottle of water at the little convenience store, this little store that's there in the terminal. And as I was checking out, I heard what sounded like my name over the intercom, but it was really broken English, and so it was really hard to make out. And I asked the guy that I was checking out there, he kind of spoke some English, and I was like, hey, did you hear what was said over the intercom? And he said, no, I didn't hear it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, well, maybe I'm just being paranoid. I guess you know, kind of just in a foreign country, and, you know, I'm kind of getting tired and things of that nature. So I was like, I'm just paranoid. So I go back to my terminal and was waiting for my flight, and all of a sudden I hear what sounded like my name again over the intercom. And I was listening a little bit more this time, and it's like, that definitely sounds like my name. And it said, "Come to the security checkpoint." And I'm like, It's like, well, that's interesting. Like, what, you know, what could be wrong, and what am I doing? And I was, first part of me was like, maybe just let it go, because I mean, I've already got through. I mean, like, what could be wrong? So, but I was like, well, I better go check just in case that, you know, something happens, and I don't want all this to come out right before I'm trying to get on this flight. Let's go try to work it out and figure out what's going on right now. So I get up out of the terminal, and I go back through the airport, back to where you go through security to come into the airport. And I find this security guard, and I was like, hey, I was like, I think I heard my name over the intercom. And he's like, what? And I was like, I heard my name over the intercom. And I was like, because he couldn't really speak really good English either. And that makes it tough when you're in a foreign country, when, you know, it's hard to communicate like that. And he's like, what's your name? I told him my name, and he made a phone call, and I don't know where he called to, but he was on the phone with him for a couple minutes, and all of a sudden, like, you could just see his demeanor on his face went from kind of joyous as just, you know, like nothing was going on, to just really angry really quick. And he turns around and looks at me and goes, "Do you have sand?" And almost yells at me. I'm like, whoa. I was like, what is going on? You know, it kind of took me back, because I just didn't expect that kind of response. And so I'm like, sand? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I have a bottle of sand in my suitcase. And at that moment, he threw his hands up and was going, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. And I'm like, but I said, it's just sand. And he just kind of looks at me really angry. He's like, "Come with me." And he's like yelling at me at this moment, like, "Come with me." I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'm like, what did I do? Like, what's going on here? And so at this moment, he's taking me back out of the airport. We go back through security, back to the front of the airport where the entrance is, where you would first come in. And so I follow him out through the airport, and I'm like, you know, thinking in my head, like, what the heck is going on here? Like, this is crazy. Like, what could be so wrong with actually having sand? And so he takes me back out to the airport, and we go across, and there's like this secured door where he's got to use his badge and things to get in, and he punches his code, and we go in this room, and it's like there's a conveyor belt there. And he goes, "Do you have sand?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's in my suitcase." And then he looks through the window, and I guess he contacts someone, and they send out my suitcase on this little conveyor belt. And at this moment, he's like, open it up, like really aggressively, like saying, "Open it up." And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I'll open it up, like it's no big deal. So I open my suitcase up, and I reach in and pull out the sand, and he's like, "Where did you get it? Where did you get the sand?" I'm like Calaganune, because that's where I was at. That's where I stayed for, you know, the last 5 days was in Calaganune. And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, wow. I was like, they're really taking this serious, you know? And I was just trying to stay calm at this moment. And he's like, "Zip up your suitcase, zip it back up." I'm like, okay. So I grabbed my suitcase and zipped it back up and sent it back through the little conveyor belt. And then he really angrily kind of detains me and says, "Come with me." And I'm like, okay, well, where are we going now? You know, what could happen from here? And so we go back out from that room, and we're heading back out through the airport, and we're going back through security again. I'm thinking, well, okay, well, maybe everything's good at this point. And I'm like, you know, maybe it's just we're going to throw it away or whatever, you know, and things will be good, because I mean, it's just a bottle of sand. I mean, it's not like I had, you know, anything illegal that I thought, but it's just sand. So we go back to security, and I go back through security, you know, and things. And as I'm going through, I look over, and there was this older couple that's probably, I don't know, in their 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and they had caught them with some little stones, little pebbles. I mean, it was really hardly nothing. I mean, it was just literally little smooth stones that probably come from the beach. And and they were literally like going crazy on them as well. And the old man, I kept hearing him saying, "Oh, am I getting arrested? Am I getting arrested?" I suppose he was probably from somewhere in England or something, because they had that kind of accent, English accent, I guess. But he was kind of confused too of what was going on. And I'm like, it's just, this is just stones and sand. Like, you can get it anywhere. It's never imagined it being something illegal. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe they're just going to, let it go at this point. But unfortunately, it didn't. It kept going downhill further at that point. So, wait, what? Hold on, I think someone's hollering my name. So I'm out here on the Mediterranean in my nice little boat, and I've come to a place called Cala Luna. If you look behind me here, you see all these caves back here in the background, these sea caves that have been made. I'm about ready to go explore them. Look at the blues of this water. Isn't that incredible? The sapphire blue of the Mediterranean is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's just absolutely incredible. An amazing experience. If you're ever in Italy, in Sardinia, you definitely have to come here to Cala Luna and get a boat and come down the coast to the Baunei Coast. It's unbelievable, so beautiful, just an experience of a lifetime. I'm gonna go explore these caves, and let's go see what they look like. All right, guys, I just made it over to the beach here at Cala Luna. I had to swim about 100 meters, or I guess a little over 100 yards from that little boat right out there you see that I got. And just to show you guys this, I went through a lot, so you better be appreciative. Just kidding, but I do think you'll love this. Check out these sea caves. Check this out. Is that not unreal? These caves extend probably 100 feet or so back into here. They're massive, these caves are. Look at this. Incredible. These caves are absolutely incredible. Mother Nature's finest artwork. It only took her thousands of years to create this, and boy did she do an amazing job. You have to come see this. This is like a trip of a lifetime, honestly, to be able to experience this. There's not a lot of people here right now. I'm sure there'll be a lot more people here later today. The only way you can kind of access this place is by a very long hike, about 2 hours, or by boat. So there's not a whole lot of people that come here, but it's definitely well worth the visit for sure. If I want to move on, probably down the coast and see what else we can find, but I'll try to give you a good view of all this before we go. So this is Cala Suzine. It's a beautiful, beautiful beach, cradled by these magnificent limestone rock formations all around it. You can only get to this beach by boat, so if you do have a boat, you can get here and be kind of on a private beach like these people are. So beautiful here. So I don't know if you can quite see these rock formations very well, but it's absolutely incredible. If you see how the angle of the rock actually goes up. Sardinia was actually created about 30 million years ago when two microtectonic plates collided together, and that's why you have the uplift in the rocks creating the mountains. Sardinia and Italy alone has some of the most amazing limestone rock formations I have ever seen in the world. Like, it's just incredible to look at the view and see how they were shoved up when two microtectonic plates were collided together about 30 million years ago. And that's how you get the beauty of the rock formations today. It took 30 million years to get this view. Absolutely phenomenal view. Listen, there is nowhere else in the world that you'll get a view like this right here other than the Baunei Coast here in Italy, in Sardinia. Right over here, I'm going to attempt to try to go show you guys if I can get in there. There is a beach inside of a cave, and if I can get there and get anchor and get a swim in, I'll get to show you guys how cool this place is. It's phenomenal, unreal what this place is like. You cannot, if you come to Rome and you come into Italy, you cannot skip this. Listen, if you come to Rome, all you got to do is get on a plane, a short flight, probably a 45-minute flight. I think I paid around $60 for the flight, and come here, get a motel. The motels are relatively pretty reasonable here. You can rent a boat for the day for around $180 or 160 euro, 180 American dollars, and come and see such beautiful places. Like, it's unreal. You'll never see a coastline or anything like this anywhere else in the world but right here in Sardinia on the Baunei Coast. So I had to swim in from right out there and up this way, up through these big canyon walls, but I found this pretty awesome beach. It's like a really pebble beach. This big massive cave inside of it. This thing is huge. It goes really deep back in here. You can see it. Let's look at these limestone structures and stuff. It's crazy. Obviously people have been here a lot. They've marked it here where they've been. These little, I think they call them, well, a blaze in the trail marking, I guess, but big old cave back in here. It's pretty awesome. Be a great place to camp, even though there's no wood. It's a little hard to walk on barefooted, but not too bad. So I'm here at Cala Grezze, most known for this monolithic structure right here behind me, the spear they call it, and there's an archway right here, but this place is absolutely gorgeous, unbelievable. You've never seen a place like this until you've actually been here. It's just an experience that you'll never forget. It's an experience that you won't find anywhere else. This place is just phenomenal, unbelievable. The color of the water, the monolithic structures, the limestone mountains, it's just very incredible. It's going to try to enjoy the day, enjoy the sun feels amazing, the water feels amazing. It's perfect time to be here, 1st of June, about middle of June. There's a lot of tourists here right now, but not too bad. But it's just an amazing place to be. Well, I'm here at Cala Grezze, and I have to say that my heart is absolutely broken at this moment. I was going to swim through the archway to get you guys some good footage, and unfortunately I had my GoPro strapped around my arm as I was swimming through it, and the strap came off my arm, and I tried to retrieve it, but all I could do was watch it sink into the abyss as I swam after it. It sank like a rocket. There was nothing I could do. It's in about 60 feet of water. I couldn't retrieve it. But so all of my underwater footage is gone. Unfortunately, I had some really good underwater footage, and even of the dive that I done. So unfortunately, no underwater footage this trip. Most of my other stuff that I had to change the memory card out this morning. So there's not a lot of footage from the rest of the trip. I have some from the trip,
but the underwater footage is gone. Unfortunately, it breaks my heart. At least I wish you guys could have seen how amazing and beautiful it was underwater. I'll try to do what I can to get some more footage. But until then, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll catch you next time. This is the city of Calaganune here in Sardinia, Italy. It's a must-come and a must-see place. This is where all the Italians vacation. So I'm here at a restaurant in Calaganune in Sardinia, Italy, and I'm getting ready to try one of their local dishes. The chef actually recommended it. It's some sort of a ravioli. I don't know exactly the ingredients because I can't read a lot of Italian, but it's right here on the intersection right when you come in. La Palatrano is the name of it. The owner's a really great guy. He highly recommended this, and Italians are really big on their bread. As you can see, this is the first time I've had this chip-like bread. Tastes like a chip cornbread. Really, if you're from the country, you know what I'm talking about. But it's actually some pretty good stuff. Pretty good. Now, let's try the ravioli and see how good it is. Pretty good. I know Italians are known for their food, but man, everything I've ate here so far since I've been here the last week has been just amazing. Their food has so much flavor. It's just so the flavor just explodes in your mouth. It's so amazing. Love it. Very good stuff. If you're ever here in Sardinia, and I highly recommend you come to Sardinia, especially Calaganune, you definitely hit this place up. La Palatrano is the name of it. Owner's a great guy. I'm sure he would love to have you. Bon appetit. So I don't know how well you could see this, but I am currently standing in an archaeological dig site here in Calaganune. It dates back to the Bronze Age, about 1800 BC, so about almost 4,000 years ago. This is what's called Nirahu Manu. It was a Norwegian and Roman settlement, and it's amazing because at this location up here on this point, it's got such an amazing viewpoint out over the Mediterranean to be able to see who's coming or if there's someone coming or something of that nature. And it's a great place of a defensive position, especially overlooking everything. They would have had the advantage here in this spot. They got the ocean down here that they use for fishing, and there's a river to my left over here where they would have got their water. And all this is just volcanic rock everywhere. It's kind of a younger volcanic rock, but that's what they used to actually build their homes. These here that you see, these squares, would have been the Romans parts of the settlement, and the round one back there would have been the Norwegian. And it's amazing how they actually were able to be together and still use their different architectural technology and build their own things, their own structures, but yet they still live together. It's pretty incredible to see, and to see that it's still here after almost 4,000 years. It's a beautiful location, extremely beautiful location. Looking out over the Med, you could actually see all the beaches that I visited down this direction. And I didn't even know this was up here until I actually found it on my way out. It's just incredible to see this. I mean, it's at the work that they took. I mean, it's a lot of work. It was all stone, it's all rock, and I mean, it would have been during the Bronze Ages. You know, they had limited tools to work with, but still, yet they done amazing feats here. It's really cool to know that they settled here for almost 1,000 years here in this location. I think it was from around 1800 BC to around 900 BC is when this location was actually used. It's incredible. It's kind of grown up right now, but I'll try to take you around and let you see some of this. But it's a beautiful location. I mean, if I was the Romans and the Norwegians, I would have definitely wanted to settle right here on this very location too, overlooking the Mediterranean. You would have seen if there was anyone coming a long way off, that's for sure, because you definitely could see for a long ways. And the view here is just spectacular. Just to sit here and to see the view every day would have been worth it. But there was definitely a whole lot of work that went on to build this location. And I'll take you around and let you see some of the location. So these square ones would have been the Romans and how they actually built their settlements. There's scattered all throughout this hillside through here are
definitely different settlements and a lot of different homes. I would imagine there'd have been several hundred people probably living here at the time. It's definitely, you know, been weathered over the years with this volcanic rock and stuff. It's kind of still hard but extremely soft. And as you can see, where they'd carved out into the stone here, which could have been like a fire pit or a place to cook, and the different ways that they carved all the stone to use this. It's pretty interesting to see for sure. So when I come into here, this almost makes me want to believe that this would have been where they would have actually stored food. If you see there's a lot of salt in here that still remains here today. Because they would have got the salt from the sea, you know, by evaporation of the water and leaving the salt behind. And this probably where they would have salted their meat, salted their fish, and to be able to preserve it and to keep it for a while. So this could have been definitely where they would have stored their food at. Here are a few pieces of clay from pottery that they would have actually made. That's pretty cool, pretty interesting that that's still here. Surprised it's not in the museum here somewhere, but it's absolutely phenomenal to see the work that would have went on in the daily life for 900 years of people living here. But as you can see, it's overlooking the Mediterranean. It's got a complete almost 180-degree view all the way around from side to side. So I'm looking here at this Nirahu circle hut, and these rocks and stones are massive. It would have been a great feat to get those large of stones on a wall that tall. That took a lot of engineering effort to do, and especially to make it still stand today. As you can see kind of in the inside of it, this probably could have been their temple or their main location for whoever was in charge. But it's absolutely massive what they would have done here. There's more. As you could see right there where they would have had their fireplace and their... It's amazing. I wonder how long that tree's actually been there to grow up in the middle of the house that used to stand here. So I'm inside the Nirahu main quarters here, or temple, and they have actually built stairs. And so this place had a second level in it, which is incredible feat to build. It's interesting to wonder, like, what would this little room have been? And this little room, maybe that was their fireplaces. But what stones on top up there that they have placed and moved into position. I mean, that stone there alone, it's probably a good almost 2 ton. That's incredible how they moved that kind of stuff. So there would have definitely been a second level on top of this. So I'd come up the steps, very intricate steps. It's really incredible, honestly, to be standing here in a place that's 4,000 years old, and knowing that 4,000 years ago people lived right here in this very little place, and probably even had a fire right here in this fire pit where they would cook their dinners or cook their food or bake their bread or the fish they caught for the day. Do you imagine just how life was back there then 4,000 years ago? And just the children running around here. I mean, this would have been, like I said, a big settlement. So you would have all kinds of children and just different people. And on a daily basis, it's like a little town. And It's amazing to think that 4,000 years ago that they were able to do this, and it's still here today. It's incredible. So I found another Manu hut. You can tell the difference because the Manu would have built in a round manner from the type civilizations and cultures, where the Romans actually built into squares. And I'm probably at least a good 100 yards or so from the main hut, which is down that way, and I'm still finding tons of city streets, still half-built buildings and things like this. It's amazing, like, that this is still here. It's crazy because I don't quite understand why you find some little parts of limestone, unless this was what they would use to actually shape the volcanic rock, because the limestone would have actually been a little harder, which would have given them the ability to shape the volcanic rock a little easier. It's a little softer than the limestone is. "4,000 years old, incredible." There's still some more pieces of pottery from the clay they would have made. So that's a little tour of the Norwegian settlement here in Kalaganune. And after analyzing it a little bit closer, I noticed that all these rocks were not just found. They are actually hand carved and chiseled to perfectly fit into these walls. So it would have been very delicate building situation here with, you know, Stone Age tools to build such intricate housing and such an amazing settlement. Definitely a lot of work. A lot of work went in here, especially in the hot summer sun of Sardinia here. It's extremely, incredibly hot. So it's amazing to see this, especially to know it's 4,000 years old. If you ever get a chance to come to Kalaganune, you definitely got to stop and see this. I think it's like $5 to get in, or €5. So definitely well worth that. And it's just, you'll be amazed at what they have accomplished here. Listen up, guys. Check this out. Is this not a pizza? This is not your typical normal American pizza. They really know how to make pizza here in Italy. I'm at a place called Cesco Monte Lounge. It's on the top of the mountain here in Kalaganune. You got to come across this massive mountain to actually get here, and it's right at the top of the mountain, right when you come out of the tunnel. It seems to be a place that most locals come to eat, and this is the second time I've been here. The first time I come here, it was really, really good, and it looks delicious today. Now, it's weird because here the pizza, they don't actually slice it for you. You actually slice it yourself, but it might take me a minute. But this is absolutely phenomenal looking pizza. Look at this. Is that not awesome? I know some of y'all would love to have this. Listen, if you come to Italy, you just come to Italy for the food. Like, the carbonaro's been amazing. The pizza's been amazing. The ravioli I've had is amazing. There's nothing I've eaten that's not been good. The gelato is amazing. I mean, it's just, everything tastes so much better here. It has so much more flavor than what we have in America, and the Italians know how to do it. And I don't understand how that the Italians stay so skinny eating all this food. Like, I have hardly seen an overweight Italian. I just don't get it. But, you know, nevertheless, this looks amazing, and I'm gonna try it if I can get it cut. Like, this is whole strips of bacon on here, and whole pieces of ham. They don't just dice it up, like they really throw it on there. Looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait. And you mostly eat it with a fork here. I tend to eat it with my hands once I get the inner part kind of cut up, and because it's a little bit different, I guess. I know some of y'all's mouth's watering right now. You have to. This is just so amazing, so delicious looking. They don't, and it's not too expensive either. I think this and a drink and everything else is like 14 euros. It's not bad at all. Sometimes you got to seek out where the locals eat. A lot of tourist areas, the food will be a lot more expensive. But here in the where the locals eat, it tends to be a lot cheaper. So, and sometimes a lot better. Sometimes in the tourist places they have Americanized the food just to cater to the tourist. But here is where you get your authentic Italian. So good. So good. The pizza sauce is not what you would typically normally see like in America, but it's actually like fresh tomato with some additives in it. But it's this, like you can see it's still kind of runny a little bit, but it's like a very tomatoey flavor, but it's got some additives and it's really, really good. Like it's really, you can just taste that everything is so fresh. And that's the way everything is here in Italy. Everything is just fresh, so fresh. Everything I've eaten has just tasted so fresh. Nothing's processed. That's probably one of the reasons why they stay so skinny here. I've had trouble actually seeing an overweight Italian, so maybe it has to be the food. But this is just phenomenal. Like there's nothing processed in this. This is all fresh and it's just delicious. So good.
Penso che è stupendo restare al buio, abbracciati noi, come pugili dopo un incontro, come gli ultimi sopravvissuti. Forse un giorno scopriremo che non ci siamo mai perduti.
So I want to do just a quick recap of my time here in Sardinia and in Calagunune. It's been absolutely phenomenal, one of the best trips I've had in a very long time. This place is beautiful. It's just mesmerizing. Of the blue waters and the sapphire blue water in these mountains is just, it's incredible. It's something to see for sure. Taking the boat out and down the Baunei Coast was a trip of a lifetime. Something that you don't get to do very often. Highly recommend that. That was just an amazing time, an amazing thing to do. The sights to see is incredible. It's just unexplainable, and the pictures and words don't necessarily do it justice. It's something you definitely need to experience. Scuba diving yesterday was absolutely phenomenal. It was awesome to scuba dive here. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage because of my GoPros got lost the day before. So yeah, there's that. But scuba diving was amazing. The instructors was great. All that, it was just an amazing time. Most thing that I've learned here in Sardinia is that the culture is a little bit different than what you would see on the mainland, and what you'd see like in Rome and Pompeii. They're a lot more laid back here in the main island. It's really busy. It's really fast paced. It's kind of aggressive in a lot of ways in the way they do things. But here in Sardinia, it's a lot more laid back. Even in their language, like in Pompeii, it's just ciao, which means hello, and basically what do you want to eat or whatever. You know, here it's ciao buongiorno, which is hello, good morning or good afternoon. So they're a lot more laid back, a lot more formal here, and just enjoy life a lot more at a slower pace here, which is kind of a breath of fresh air, because it's extremely fast in Italy, fast paced everywhere you go, especially in the driving. Here's driving's a lot more laid back, just as everything else is. So it's a pretty beautiful place to be. If you come to Italy, I highly recommend getting a plane ticket from Rome to here for $60 and staying here for a few days. It's not going to add that much more to your trip, but it's definitely worth it. It's absolutely spectacular here. It's definitely a different side of Italy that most people don't see. It's the place that most Italians won't tell you about, because this is kind of their place to get away, and their place to just where time slows down for them. So it's an amazing place to be. Love it here. I hate that I have to leave, but I'm flying out to Sicily this evening, so I'll meet you there in Sicily. All right, back to the story. Sorry, I ran into some people that recognized me from the channel. So That's cool to actually know that some people actually recognize that the channel is actually getting some views anyway. So back to the story. So now we've come back through the airport and I'm back at security. And as I'm going back through security, I'm thinking, well, maybe everything is good now. You know, they'll just get rid of the sand and throw it away and I'll go ahead and make my flight. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. As I was going back through security, there was these old couple that they had caught with some stones or just some pebbles. They were just like regular, just everyday pebbles that you would find, I guess, on the beach because they were smooth, so they had to be from the beach. And they had caught them and was beginning to detain them. And the old guy, he must have been from somewhere in probably London or something of that nature, because he had that kind of English accent, and he was like, am I getting arrested? Am I getting arrested? And they were like in their 80s, so they were definitely an older couple, and they were pretty scared at that moment too. So nevertheless, they actually took them as well, but they had took me on, and when they took me onto the airport, I thought, you know, like I said, they was just going to get rid of the sand and I'd be okay. But no, I actually got taken to the police station in the airport, and that's when I knew that things was probably a lot worse than what I was expecting, considering it was, you know, just sand to begin with. And so I get it to the police station, and that's where they begin to detain me and arrest me, and they actually take me in and put me into an interrogation room. And I sit in there what felt like an eternity. I mean, reality, it was probably 30 to 40 minutes probably. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to miss my flight. Like, this is going to be bad. I don't know what's going on. Like, no one was telling me anything. And the police there, or at least those cops, they really couldn't speak English. Like, they weren't able to speak any English at all, actually. And I know very little Italian, so I can know please and thank you, and that's about it. So it was really hard to communicate and try to figure out what was going on. But I stayed in there for a while, and in between this, from time to time, there was a security guard, I guess, that could speak some English, came in and was beginning to interrogate me and ask me, you know, tons of questions like, who am I? Where am I from? Where did I get the sand? Where have I been? How long have I been here? Just, you know, the normal questions. But then they started getting some tougher questions and things, just trying to, I guess, get me to break, or what, I don't know what they were looking for, to be honest with you. I mean, to me, it was just sand, and I told them where I got it and why I had it. You know, it's just something I wanted to take home as a souvenir. So, I mean, that's basically what it boiled down to. And so I'm sitting in there, and they finally leave out. I'm asking, like, you know, what's going on? What's happening? And probably 10 minutes later, there was a cop come in, and he had typed out on his phone that it could be jail or a $3,000 fine. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is not good. I'm like, man, I really didn't want to have to pay, you know, a $3,000 fine. I definitely didn't want to go to jail, but I'm like, if I could pay the fine and get out of jail, at least I'd be, you know, on my way to Sicily. And so he ended up leaving and coming back out, and I spent probably another 10 or 15 minutes in there, something of that nature. Like I said, it felt a lot longer than it probably was. And so this whole time I'm just freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on and how do I get out of this and things. And so he finally comes back in a little later, and he has typed out on his phone on the Google Translate. And they just decided to give me a warning this time, because I had no previous, you know, anything on my record previously. They had never, you know, really even heard of me. So there was nothing on my record that, because I'd given my passport and my ID and all that stuff, and I guess they'd run like a background check and all that stuff. So they didn't see anything on my record, and they ended up giving me a warning. And he said, this time we're giving you a warning. It was typed out, and next time it will be a $3,000 fine and jail. So I was like, okay, thank you. I was like, just get rid of the sand. And I'm like, and I was just honestly still in shock. I'm like, never imagined that, you know, it would be so illegal to have sand. Never even thought of that, because it's just, I mean, it's sand, right? And so I was finally able to make my flight. I did get to my flight on time, and I left and I flew to Sicily. But I was, you know, looking into it after that. I'm like, how would I even know that sand would be illegal to have? And so I go to Sicily, and then I didn't get there till late. But the next day I kind of just done a Google search and was looking at, you know, why it was so, I guess, illegal to have sand in Sardinia, or get sand from Sardinia. And it's something that they take extremely serious in Sardinia. I mean, I have, you know, gotten rocks and pebbles and things from other places in the world and never had an issue, never even thought about an issue of something like that. So lesson learned. I learned that lesson to look, I guess you try to at least find a search, whether it's legal or illegal to take something like that if you go on a travel. Some places they don't really care it doesn't really even matter. Some places do take it extremely seriously, just like Sardinia did. So yeah, that was definitely a lesson learned that could have turned out a lot worse than what it actually did. I'm thankful that they actually let me go and with just a warning. But you can rest assured that next time I come to Sardinia, which I will be returning at some point, I hope to return some point because I love Sardinia. It was incredible. So I didn't let that ruin my trip. I'm thankful that they did what they did. So I really am appreciative of that, but I did learn my lesson. And hopefully you take from this video that if you go to Sardinia, you will be fine. Just don't take anything from the beaches. And from what I understand, I'm not telling you to do this, but I think it was just because it came from the beaches in Sardinia. If it probably would have been a rough stone, they probably wouldn't even said anything about it, because from what I found online is it's just stones and sand that comes from the beaches in Sardinia. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm not telling you to take anything, but that's just from what I read and what I researched, I found out. So definitely, like I said, a lesson learned. I hope to go to Sardinia soon. I hope that you go to Sardinia, because it was definitely a trip of a lifetime, and I really do think that you'll enjoy it. So until next time.
I fall for my words, yeah, my mind's a mess when you're in that dress. Glad you're home. Will you stay with me and never leave? You walked into my